calls this podcast the Biffler? Who the fuck is you? The Biffler? The Biffler? After Biff Tannen? Is that what we're being named after?
I think so. McFly.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
McFly.
Listen, man. You shit it on us for like 25 minutes straight.
Or should I cut it at 15? I mean,
No, nigga, just be like, let's talk about something else. Why are we talking about the Biffler? The Biffler.
Can we bring?
That's just supposed to be funny, the Biffler.
Here we are, Abe, Cast Iron Brains, a podcast that will heretofore and forever cease speaking about our sister and competitive podcast, The Biffler. I no longer have anything to say about anything that goes on in and around CKT Studios in the Atlanta area or anything about the podcast, The Biffler. Thank you for your attention to this matter. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I'm learning to crochet.
Oh, nice.
Lori's learning to crochet. Tonight is Monday, August 18th, 2025. Spent the day immersed in Little League Baseball once again. We're right back at it, trying to sort out teams. I've got a team, and the way, so we're going to have two leagues again, or I'm going to be more or less in charge of two divisions out of the four that we have. So I'm trying to put together the majors and the minors at the same time. And we get a list of requests that parents have put in for what team they want their kid to be on. And because it's fall ball, you're more likely to honor those sorts of requests because fuck it. You know, it's not as serious. We just try to put people where they want to be. And there's 60 kids registered for the minors, which is a very strong number for us for a fall season. There's going to be 5 teams of 12. I put together my 5 team. One of these teams has got 9 kids on their request list. Another couple have 8 kids on the request list. So I'm building these rosters, and I send out a rough draft of what I've done here to my buddy who coaches with me in majors. He's like, what do you think here? Anything jump out at you as particularly egregious or bad or wrong? And he goes, boy, we sure do have a bunch of the 7-year-olds. And I'm like, what are you saying here, guy? He's like, I've got 2 7s. You've got 5, to be fair. You do have a bunch of 7-year-olds. Not even true 7s. They're league 7s. Some of them might actually be 8 years old already, I think, the way that the stupid cutoff thing works. But league 7 for the purposes of discussion here. And he's like, what's going on here? Ages don't seem to quite be fairly evenly distributed amongst all of the teams. He's not wrong. There are 2 teams out of 5 that don't have any 7-year-olds. But then I showed him his request list, and it's all 5 of those 7-year-olds specifically want to be on his team because they've been on his team in the past. His team, which, by the way, won the spring season. They won the playoffs. They beat the other team. This is the defending champs. He's like, team sure is young. And I was like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? What are we talking about here? These are just you had 8 kids who wanted to be on your team. There's only so much we can do.
Is that, I assume that's the priority when you're constructing these teams, just the request list and not so much.
And also, I've got an 11-year-old on my team who sucks at baseball. Like, hey, you want to get older, I'll trade you my 11-year-old and this 10-year-old I have on my team who's literally never played the sport before. And I'll take one of your 7s who was on your fucking all-star team, right, that you took to the state tournament. I'll trade you an 11 and a 10 for the 7, and your team's just going to get worse. He's like, no, but why is that kid on your team instead of mine? I was like, which one? He's like, the 7-year-old. I was like, wait, so you want to get younger? You're complaining about having all these 7s. I took a 7 from the group of kids who didn't have a team and didn't have a previous team that was still constituted and just threw him on my team because whatever, I'll take the 7. And then gave him one of the 8s from the group of kids who didn't otherwise have a request or what have you and a previous team. And he's like, yeah, take this Braden kid. And I was like, this is anti-rogue Y bias is what's going on here because there's a bad Y in that name. And give me the 7-year-old that I like. was like, so what you're telling me is your team is too young and you want it to get younger, you bastard. That was what we just spent the last half an hour talking about.
Is that particular 7-year-old like promising or something?
I mean, he seems to think so.
Okay.
You just can't make anybody happy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's always
Try to do right by him, and they're like, give me a little bit more.
God, greedy. The fall season is not as prestigious as the spring. Is that right? Like this is more.
It's more laid back. You practice once a week. You play your games on Sunday, and you don't let baseball
go to the field every night.
Take over your life the way that it does in the spring. I mean, I'll still be down there, fucking 4 nights a week probably, but not quite as many as we are in the spring. The stakes are just kind of lower.
Stakes are nothing.
There's no postseason.
Kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah, but it's only 8 weeks, so you only play 8 games. But it's fun. It's still fun.
I like it. I don't like how anticlimactic it is.
Yeah.
Just sort of ends.
It ends, and then everybody goes to Jack Fest and celebrates the cancer kid. Anyway, how was your weekend, Abe?
It's good. This past weekend was the last before football begins, but I did watch a lot of football. I was going to talk about it at the end, but just what I did this weekend. On Netflix, there's the SEC behind the scenes from last year thing. I'm like 4 episodes in. And it was kind of helpful because I kind of forgot, the one good thing about having a shitty memory is that a lot of stuff is like new to you. So like, I remember the big stuff, but I don't remember the little things. And so like, each episode they would follow like some teams. Like, so Georgia wasn't part of this. It was like LSU and South Carolina, Tennessee. There are other teams that are part of this. And they were in Florida. And so they were following the Florida season, how it began, how awful it was. And it was like, I don't know how that guy survived. That head coach survived that early just start to the season.
That was real lucky that Napier didn't get the shit can.
It's because his players didn't stop trying.
Right. And the one thing is, you're watching all of these rival teams, in the SEC, and, they humanize them. These are people behind the coaches and the quarterbacks and the receivers and whatnot. And they all come across like normal people, except that shit for brain LSU head coach.
He's the worst.
He is like, even in a intimate, like behind the scenes, just like, like somebody's interviewing you, just the camera's on you. Like he just seems like a piece of shit. Like the whole time I was like, everybody else is like, whatever, they're fine. Like that big Arkansas head coach is fine. Like a lot of
Pittman seems great.
Yeah. Sam Pittman's a former Georgia guy. We like Sam Pittman.
And even the quarterbacks, even the shitty ones, like they were showing the Florida kids that Mertz and Legway were,
You going soft on quarterbacks now?
No, but just like
look at you.
Ooh,
I just
have you watched the quarterback documentary too?
I won't go so far because I also watched the Colts preseason game, and boy, this is going to be a long season. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to suck. But like they appear to be like normal people, and then when you cut to LSU with this guy, and it's like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. I don't know how anybody like roots for that guy.
He sucks. Although Coach O today said out loud that he wants to get back into coaching college. So
Really?
maybe they'll have him back.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
What was his? Why?
I don't remember.
He did something bad,
Brah,
right?
brah, 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 brah. That's all I remember.
But it's crazy. He wins a national title. He gets like $1 gazillion just to fuck around and do whatever. Like, why would I guess these coaches really love the coaching, right? Because like you have all of the accolade. You won a national title, right? I mean, the chances he's going to win another one.
LSU still loves him. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, but that's interesting. He wants back in.
Ed Ogeron rules. He's awesome.
But yeah, so like I spent the last non-football weekend of the year by watching football. Just to
That's
kind of
good.
Ready.
Get yourself ready. What did we do? Anything interesting?
No, we have lots of movies to talk about, but we can wait till the end.
Well, we'll get to that at the end. We should open up the WGAS NewsBag because one thing that I did on Friday evening was turned on the television to see what the fuck was going on with Donald Trump and Vlad Putin meeting there in Alaska. It was a weird look. I think it's safe to say. The Russian presidential airplane lands on a U.S. military base, and Putin comes walking out on a red carpet and climbs into the presidential limo with Donald Trump, all smiles. They have their meeting, which evidently gets cut short relative to things that were planned. Once again, the operational security of the Trump administration turns out to be something of a disaster, because some people who were staying in a hotel the next day found some printouts, just like, how you go to like the Holiday Inn Express and they have the office area, which is just like 2 computers and a printer that never works in the lobby there, and you can that's their business center. It's one of the perks that you get, is you get access to the business center. Apparently somebody staying at some hotel there in Alaska in the Trump administration had printed off the schedule for the whole day, like where everybody was going to be at what time, which is not the sort of thing that is supposed to leak out normally. And somebody who just happened to be in the hotel the next day goes into the business center and finds a couple copies of the previous day's itinerary. So that's not great. But anyway, I turned on the TV to see the press conference that was supposed to happen. There's supposed to be like a long working lunch, and they cut the working lunch short and instead just did this behind closed doors meeting with Putin and a handful of other Russian functionary types. And then Trump was there along with Marco Rubio and a handful of other people in the administration. That fucking Witkoff guy who seems to be essentially the Secretary of State. I don't know what Marco's actual job is, but Witkoff is doing all of the diplomacy, seemingly.
Right. He's being sent off to just all these different locations. What is he, like the special envoy? What is his
special envoy? Yeah, for Trump. Weird situation there. And nothing came of it, seemingly, right? The only thing meaningful that came out of this exchange was that we weren't going to get the ceasefire that Trump insisted was something that he needed to get coming out of this meeting. Like that, he was very, very forceful a couple of days before the summit took place, saying,
Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
There will be
be?
consequences.
Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes.
2 days later.
Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
I
your
don't
meeting
think
with
you need a
President Putin?
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, one country or the other wouldn't want it. I like the concept. I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other.
we want to get a ceasefire out of them, and I'm going to know within the first couple of minutes whether or not this is going to be a success. And they come out and they don't announce anything. They just announce that Vladimir Putin assured Donald Trump that the 2020 election was stolen in precisely the way that Donald Trump already believes it to have been stolen, and that they're great pals now, and we'll see you later.
Right, and you know there were a lot of there was a lot of press there, obviously in Alaska, anticipating there would be some questions after their statements, and there weren't. Right, basically the Putin spoke first, and then Trump spoke second. There wasn't a deal. In the run-up to this meeting, there was basically a threat of additional sanctions if things didn't go Trump's way. That seems to have kind of fallen off. The need to have a ceasefire first before the negotiations can continue, like that also was set aside. It seemed like, like not much came of it except for Putin kind of got what he wanted, right? Like he shows up, and then after that, there's no talk of ceasefire and there's no talk of sanctions, right? So basically just everything continues. What's interesting is in the past, things are just upside down, but in the past, you would never have people at the level of the head of state, like in the head of government, like Putin and Trump would not meet until behind the scenes, all the underlings worked out the agreement, right? So basically, if you're going to have American military personnel literally rolling out the red carpet for a thug like Putin, right? you better have some deliverables that you can point to instead of the criticism that's likely to come. Like, hey, why are you doing all this for this guy? You're applauding him. You're waiting for this guy. He's doing all, it's like, why would you do all that if you're not getting anything in return? So typically,
the only thing he got in return was like the pride that Vladimir Putin really likes me and agrees with me about the things that I say, that I think about the world.
Right.
Like that's how fucking stupid and pointless this was.
Right.
That Putin gets I think that fucking Chris Murphy was prominent among or one of the ones pushing this sort of narrative. But everybody's saying it like, well, Putin wanted back on the world stage, right? Like, and what Trump has done here is he's given Putin legitimacy in some way, and he's welcomed him back to the global stage or whatever. And it's like, I think that's wildly overblown in terms of anything that fucking matters, which is like, he's still the leader of Russia, right? He's the whether or not we acknowledge that he's the leader of Russia and talk to him and meet with him. Like, it would be to my preference that we not roll out the red carpet on U.S. soil on a military base in Alaska for the asshole. But like, Trump is not legitimizing Vladimir Putin in any meaningful way. Like, it strikes me as almost as dumb as all of the talk that we had in 2017 through 2019, 2020 about normalizing Trump. Like, you can complain about normalizing him all you want. This is just the world that we live in.
Right,
It is definitionally normal that Donald Trump is the president of the United States because it's what fucking happened.
Right.
So like, spare me the wringing of hands about legitimizing Putin. At the same time, I don't love the optics of it, and especially because you don't get anything from it except Putin's ability to brag about it later, which the Russian media has not been shy about doing in the last few days.
Of course, and you couldn't possibly get much out of it anyway because Ukraine, the country that was invaded, is not represented there, right? So, like, what could you have possibly gained by having this meeting? It's weird how Trump, maybe he's just so into just the meeting world leaders thing. Like, he doesn't seem to learn from past mistakes because in Helsinki, that wasn't a very good turnout, right? Basically just showed up, meets with Putin, and he's like, why would I trust him over the intelligence, our own intelligence, or he kind of flubbed whatever he was trying to get at. Kim Jong-un, he had like a meeting, I think the second or third time. That didn't go anywhere. Basically, he kind of left pissed. I think it was like in Vietnam or wherever it was. Like, he's had meetings with these countries, these like autocratic countries, and nothing comes of it. Like, there's no planning ahead of time. You typically want to have something to point to before you show up, and then you show up and you're like, look what I accomplished. Because that would read great. Like, if they worked out something to announce in Alaska, like a ceasefire, let's say, then nobody would. Who cared about the red carpet and the legitimizing and blah blah blah? It would be like, that was something that Putin didn't want, and then that's what Trump secured. And now we can go to the next step and kind of build on that. But you don't get anything, and the story is you just rolled out the red carpet to the point where Rubio's on the Sunday morning shows trying to like defend against the charges that all of these European heads of state are coming to support Zelensky against any sort of chicanery from America, right? Because basically last time he was there, all of the browbeating and the scolding that came at in that Oval Office press conference or that meeting that they had. So like all of these other countries showed up to lend their support and credibility so that to kind of help out Ukraine. And it appears, I mean, this has happened today, the day we're recording, it appears that worked, like where Trump is kind of more in line with the Europeans after that meeting on Friday. But like they were there specifically for that. And Rubio was kind of like peeved that people were drawing some connection. Like, these people are not there to like defend Zelensky against us. Like, we're not here against Ukraine or whatever, but that's clearly why they showed up.
Right. It's good luck doing what you did last time, JD, is what all of the European leaders were doing there, right? It was basically to try to foreclose upon that scenario playing out again. presumably.
And he like dressed up for them, just
He put on a black suit, and he wasn't wearing his military garb.
President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good on
I
you.
said the one that attacked you last time. See, that was I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed. You are not.
Maybe yours is much better.
Lori had asked me this morning, what do you think he's going to wear? And it
Julia's office was having a bet.
hadn't even occurred to me. And I assumed that he would wear his normal military sweatshirt or whatever. But no, he showed up looking good. He got off a good one against that reporter who gave him shit last time. And he's like, hey, I see you're wearing that same crappy suit you were wearing last time. And look at me. Yeah, it's whatever. It's not great, but it's not. I mean, he has this pipe dream that he's going to win a Nobel Prize, which is what all of this is about. And so like all of it leading up to him winning the Nobel Prize, he doesn't care about any of the fucking details.
Right.
He's just like, I'm going to stop this war. And the way that I can stop this war is by talking and by making it look like I stopped the war. Is, I'm going to talk to Vlad, and then I'm going to talk to Zelensky, and then we're going to have peace. And then they're not going to have any choice but to give me the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
And like, I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's I guess if he ends this war and then somehow,
if he ends the war, then that'll be to his credit. But the problem is like the two sides are still very far apart. Like Ukraine would not just totally capitulate and just give up land, right? And Russia's not going to agree to like, okay, we'll cleave like 1/5 of the country, and then now Ukraine can pursue security agreements with NATO or Europe, that because then now we'll just bring the issue to the new border, right? So like it seems like Putin wants both. He wants like the land, and he wants to make sure that Ukraine is still kind of like in this like no man's land where they could potentially be attacked again. And so there's never going to be a scenario where both of those things will happen. Ukraine did not go through all of this just so they can go back to square one. So this will just kind of continue until one of them gives up a major point.
The part where he told Hannity a couple of hours later that Vlad tells me that the election was stolen and that we're the only country that does mail-in ballots, and you can't have a secure election with mail-in ballots. And of course, that's ridiculous. There are many major democracies throughout the world have mail-in voting, and it's totally fucking fine.
Vladimir Putin said something, one of the most interesting things. He said, your election was rigged because you have mail-in voting. He said, mail-in voting, every election. He said, no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting. It was a rigged election, but mail-in voting, Sean.
And then he goes on Truth, and it's like Vladimir Putin gave him the permission structure to seek to change the way that we vote in this country is the biggest takeaway from the last few days, which is bizarre.
It is
right?
Bizarre, yeah. Especially, I mean, first of all, like you're seeking like comfort and support about like an election process from a guy that does not really abide by it. Like, I don't understand what he's trying to get at. Like, obviously he'll say whatever Trump wants. Like, yeah, mail-in ballots are bad. Or
specifically, he will say things that just are meant to flatter Donald Trump and to make it's just clearly it's what he did. He went there with like 6 different talking points just to say, boy, Donald, you sure are great and smart, and everybody is against you, but I'm behind you. Like I agree with your very smart assessment about the world, and Trump just eats it right the fuck up.
Right. Do you sometimes think like these world leaders are like, is this guy fucking with us? Like, is he that easy to manipulate? Is this like some sort of Borat style, like long con? Like, there's no way that you could just say a few flattering things about things that he cares about, and then you get your way. Like, that seems to be the thing. The only drawback is the next person who meets with them can do the same, and you're back to square one. So basically, it's like
my boss too. That's
the same. So basically, this will continue. Like, whoever speaks to him last will get the advantage.
He ended his truth with the following all caps declaration. Elections can never be honest with mail-in ballots / voting, and everybody, in particular the Democrats, know this. I and the Republican Party will fight like hell to bring honesty and integrity back to our elections. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are a complete and total disaster must end now. Remember, without fair and honest elections and strong and powerful borders, you don't have even a semblance of a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. 3 exclamation marks. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. I feel like there should be more to say about what happened with the Trump-Putin meeting and then with what happened today. But it very much feels like status quo and that nothing meaningful has changed. So I don't know what else there is really to say about it.
Right. I mean, like after the meeting in Alaska, like you thought, okay, basically Putin got what he wanted and things are going against Ukraine. And then now after this meeting on Monday with all the European allies, it seems like we're back to square one to where the fighting will continue. Like the demand for a ceasefire, I think the German chancellor like floated the idea, but I don't think that's happening. So like the fighting will continue until until further notice. Like, so nothing really, we'll see how this shakes out, but it seems like the war will just kind of drag on.
There was a mention, I know I said I wouldn't talk about the Biffler, but there was a mention on the Biffler, which comes to mind now, which is about a story that Oklahoma is going to be permitted to teach that the 2020 election was stolen.
That's right.
In a teach the controversy sort of way. I mean, they don't present it as teach the controversy, but essentially it's a teach the controversy type of thing, like the way that you teach the controversy over evolution or intelligent design and that sort of thing.
Right.
And that does speak to similar to the book that I read, Fall or Dodge in Hell by Neil Stephenson, where maybe the most interesting part of the entire novel was how these college students, a generation or two from now, with all sorts of advances in technology and whatnot, are traveling across the country and entering into a part of the country that has sort of cleaved off from the rest of us, which is Ameristan, sort of derisively referred to as that, but where Facebook and the Facebook algorithm has taken over their media consumption to the point where we essentially live in separate realities, right? Where the people who live in the major cities get one news feed through their devices, and the people that live in the middle of the country get another news feed, and where the inciting incident of the book, and I don't know how interesting this is to people, but the inciting incident in the book is the fake nuclear bombing of an American city in Utah. And this is done with a very elaborate ruse by a tech oligarch who just wants to convince everybody that a bomb went off, a nuclear bomb went off in Utah, when in fact no such thing happened. And so the point here is that it was surprisingly easy to convince people that such an emergency was taking place, and one of our protagonists does the dirty work to figure out that in fact everything was fucking fine, that literally you could go to this city in Utah that claimed to have been wiped off the face of the planet, and in Bill Hicks style, you open up the door and the birds are chirping and everything is fucking fine. But in Ameristan, there are people who still say, like, remember the bombing of the city in Utah. Like, they still believe that this insane shit happened that very clearly did not. I mean, it's less stark with the election denial stuff, but like if you're going to be teaching kids in Oklahoma that the 2020 election was stolen, and that at the very least Republicans believe that the 2020 election was stolen, you are going to start inculcating in the youths a belief in something that is not true according to most people who live in sane world or whatever. And it's profoundly bad, I think, in part because it can only derange one's faith in the institution essentially no matter what.
But
right?
isn't that the point?
So the kids who buy it hook, line, and sinker and say, yes, Trump was robbed in 2020 and we had to endure Joe Biden and all that wrought, which Putin, and that, I forgot this, what was actually to me the main takeaway of that press conference was when Putin, apropos of nothing, because he's just giving a talk. He's not responding to anything that Donald is saying. He just comes out and makes a statement after they have their meeting. And he says, and I said to Donald, you're right, President Trump, there would not have been a war with Ukraine if you had been elected president in 2020.
Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so. And I can confirm that. I think that overall, me and President Trump have built a very good, businesslike, and trustworthy contact.
Which is, it's bonkers, right? Like he would not have made his move on Ukraine but for the fact that Joe Biden was the one who is the president of the United States, or that somehow Trump could have personally, and if Trump could have personally avoided this outcome, then why is it that the war can't be over in 24 hours the way that Trump insisted that it would have been, right? Like it's another of those things that Putin said to Trump in order to butter him up and to get him on his side and to make it look like we're all good friends here, so that then Russian state media can put out propaganda on the back end. But like that's fucking ridiculous. Like, so there would be children in Oklahoma who are taught that the 2020 election was stolen and that the hundreds of thousands of dead Russians and Ukrainians and the way that has deranged Europe for the last 3 years is a direct result of the stolen election in 2020. That is profoundly destabilizing to their sense of American democracy, right? Like, how, if they buy it, it's like, how can they trust anything about the way that the system works? And if they don't, how can they trust anything that they're being taught in this school otherwise? Right. And it is when you start doing this, it reinforces this total lack of faith in institutions that strikes me as quite a problem moving forward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what's interesting about that sort of belief, it seems to be like very limited, because like, accepting the results when it goes your way, it happens, right? In 2024, like, hey, our guy won, those elections were fair, right? So, like, is this just, like, going forward, I'll know it by the outcome? Like, if, like, in the midterms go the other way, that's rigged. If 28th it goes their way, it's fair. Like,
yeah, because mail-in vote, he's not going to be able to stop states from having mail-in voting in 2028 or 2026. Right. And so he's going to lose the House, and his explanation will be because the cowards in Congress or and wherever else and the courts that wouldn't accept my executive order that says there cannot be mail-in voting. Right. That was rejected, and therefore they stole the election. Certainly, that is what he will say.
That's true, but it's weird how, like, you can also tell a state like Texas, hey, just run the numbers again and draw a map to where I gain or we gain 5 seats, right? I mean, like, isn't that like you're meddling in the midterms? I mean, through legal means. I mean, this is a process that you can do, so I'm not saying this is illegal, but like, you're trying to achieve a certain outcome. You know, you're trying to create enough seats to, keep the House. And so, like, that's fine. It seems like that's fine. Like, anything I do in the service of my side is fine. Anything the other side does to go against it is fraudulent and corrupt, and that seems to be like a winning argument for some people. It's weird. Like, it's like you have two different standards. Like, when I do it, I'm doing it for good. When you do it, you're doing it for bad. And even if it's the same action, and that's kind of odd.
All right, moving on. The U.S. government to take cut of NVIDIA and AMD AI chip sales to China. There has been previously the Trump administration was mad about the CHIPS Act because it was handouts to chip makers or whatever. They were mad about the fact that U.S. companies were going to sell these sorts of chips to China, and they viewed that as a national security risk, right? So they had prevented NVIDIA and AMD from selling these advanced microchips to China because of national security reasons, allegedly. But then they come out and say, actually, you can go ahead and sell those chips to China as long as we get 15% of your revenue. And this is another one that is like because it's me, it's good. Like you were just saying, this is unthinkable in the history of American capitalism.
I was actually trying to think, has this happened before?
Well, no, because it's an excise. And this is the thing that I don't understand. This is the definition of an excise tax, right? This is a tax on an export of one particular product sold by one or two particular companies. It's written word for word into the Constitution of the United States,
right?
That this is not acceptable, and they're simply saying, "Oh no, we're not going to call this one a tax."
Right.
It's the opposite move that John Roberts did to save the healthcare bill.
Right.
When he's like, all of these fees and stuff. No, those are taxes. Yeah. They do whatever the fuck they want because we're going to call it a tax. And this is the administration is just like, no, this isn't a tax because we say it's not a tax. But like in every imaginable way, it's an excise tax. I don't know how exactly they think they're going to get away with it. But it's very similar to when we talk about like the tariff stuff, and the thing that Donald Trump wants is to say you got a 50% tariff, you've got a 35% tariff, you've got an 80% tariff, but then the envoys and the prime ministers and the finance ministers, they come and they bend the knee at the White House and they say what a brilliant man Donald Trump is, and they work out some sort of deal. It's just a patronage system, basically. Right. So you come and you kiss the ring, and you give him that which he desires, which is a press moment of you expressing fealty and wondering at his power, and therefore now everything is going to be fine again. This is very similar to that in we're going to pretend like this is a national security issue so that we can force you to come to the table, and then we're going to take 15% of everything that you send over there and just put it in the U.S. Treasury. Like it's bonkers.
Right. In specific circumstances, there's that Defense Production Act that the government used in the past, like during the pandemic. There have been times where, like in a wartime setting, like nationalizing a private company for, in the interest of whatever. But
also rarely good, by the way.
Also rarely good, but usually there's like something, that something's happened and we need to do a thing. Like it's not a good thing, but we need to do it or whatever, right? Like this, if this kind of, I don't know, because Trump does it, everything's just kind of normalized now. There's hardly a reaction. Like if in the future, if let's say somebody like a populist on the left came and had a similar thing, but with pharmaceutical companies, like saying, like, you guys are fucking gouging our people, and so we need to have like 50-50 partnership to keep you honest. Like, would that be kosher? Would that be okay? Like, it seems like you're kind of creating
they can do anything, right? This is what actually bothers me about it is it's an example of I will do anything and I will be defended by enough people for it not to matter, right? Like he said, you can't sell these chips to China because it's a national security risk. And then a month later, he turns around and says, no, you can go ahead and sell your chips to China as long as I get 15% of the action. Right. And apparently the national security risk was just bullshit cover for him to do whatever he wanted to do. It's or he doesn't fucking care because he wants the win in terms of getting the 15%. Right. But it's not good. And the fact that it's a Republican administration that is going out and doing this sort of thing it's unthinkable as recently as I don't know.
Right, but the Republican Party is no longer tethered to anything like that. It's just whatever Trump
it's tethered
says.
to one thing. Right. It's tethered to the whims and desires of Donald Trump. And they will constantly defend no matter what bonkers shit. The fact that it was Marco Rubio who was forced to do this thing with Putin over the weekend when he's somebody who's been very clear that Putin is no one that can be trusted, that he's a bullshit artist who is not to be trusted. He's a thug and a dictator and a murderer.
Mr. Secretary, I want to play something you said about President Putin. This was right after the invasion in March of 2022. Take a look.
This guy lies, habitually lies. He's never kept a deal he's ever signed, and he lies all the time. And I don't know why, but he plays us like a violin in the West, because the West wants to believe that you can cut a deal with everybody. You can't cut a deal with guys like this. He's a professional, experienced liar.
Marco Rubio was saying in 2022, right? Not that long ago. And now it's like, no, we got to meet with anybody, right? Like, why are you so against peace? you scared of peace?
Right.
If anybody else was doing this, they would be all for it. But because it's Trump, the media has to freak out. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't think that that's actually true. All right. What else is in the news bag this week? Here's something that Abe sent along this evening. Cambridge Dictionary adds skibidi and tradwife among 6,000 new words. AP.
Tradwife is not a word.
It is now. What the skibidi is happening to the English language. Skibidi, pronounced skibidi, is one of the slang terms popularized by social media that are among the 6,000 additions this year to the Cambridge Dictionary. Right off the bat here, 6,000 is too many new words for 1 year.
Too many. There needs to be rules. I mean, in professional sports, there's a cooling off period from when a person retires and when they are eligible for the Hall of Fame. There should be something similar, especially in this internet slang era. There's a high likelihood that this word, skibidi, which means whatever you want it to mean. Like, I mean, the definition is ridiculous.
Skibidi is a gibberish term coined by the creator of an animated YouTube series and can mean cool or bad or be used with no real meaning as a joke, which is... end quote. That's my entire exposure to skibidi, which is just overhearing awful 12-year-olds say the word skibidi back and forth to each other with no meaning.
Right.
And also, I watched those fucking videos and felt bad about the world on the show.
You know, the internet, people are saying dumb things all the time. That's fine. There needs to be a cooling off period to see if these words endure, like just for like 2 years. Like I'm not saying like 5 years necessarily, but just let this fester for a little bit and see if it's any good. And also have a cap on how many words you can add. 6,000, like you said, way too many words.
Also, the existence of like knowyourmeme.com and Urban Dictionary means that like Cambridge and Webster's or whatever, you don't have to get involved here.
Yes.
Right?
Stay in your lane, Cambridge.
You're not the keepers of this fucking bullshit. Right? If, as Abe is saying, 15 years from now, there are like dissertations that include the word skibidi, then yes, now we can start talking about including skibidi in the dictionary in a way that matters. But for now, let me find out about skibidi by going to knowyourmeme.com or the Urban Dictionary or something like that.
Right.
Like that is the proper forum for figuring out that sort of thing.
I wonder, they're adding 6,000. Do they have a process for like shedding words? Like, boy, we jumped the gun on this word from 2019. Like, fuck that. Like, because you can't just keep adding thousands of words every year. Come on, you have to have some standards.
Yeah, and then if you say if they put out a list of words that they're shedding, and then the AP puts out a story about these words that are going the way of the dodo out of the dictionary, now that like it reinforces the word again, and now you're in danger of having to stick it back in there. Other planned additions include tradwife, a contraction of traditional wife, referring to a married mother who cooks, cleans, and posts on social media. And posts on social media.
But that's the thing, because you wouldn't know about them if they didn't post on. Like it's a thing.
Yeah. And delulu, a shortening of the word delusional that means, quote, believing things that are not real or true, usually because you choose to.
Do they have a committee that makes these decisions? It doesn't seem like they have a very exacting standard. It's just add.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Whatever word comes to mind.
Environmental concerns are behind the addition of forever chemical, a harmful substance that remains in the environment for a long time. Those are two words.
So is tradwife.
That I know what they mean. You don't need to define them as a phrase. I don't know. This is probably like the linguists who are 99% of them are descriptivists rather than proscriptivists are all fucking fine with this, and we are viewed as bad for believing that we should be doing anything but as keepers of the language. We should just always be accepting the way that people are communicating, and we shouldn't be trying to put any constraints on anything in that way.
I think the over the long term, I do agree with that view. It's just you need to kind of let the process take its course. Let people talk through things, and then word will stick around, like cool. I don't know when cool started, but people still say cool. That's still in the dictionary. Other words kind of come and go. No one uses them after a while. Just give it a few years, and we'll see what happens by the end of the decade.
All right. In our bogus future, and I know we keep complaining about AI stuff, but there's a essay in the Times that I read this morning, What My Daughter Told ChatGPT Before She Took Her Life. A very sad story. Don't need to read it at length in the way that I read that creeps. That guy who was pretending that he was going to kill himself and then was going on fancy dinners all over Europe.
Yeah.
I don't need to read it at length here. But basically, this is a woman who, by all accounts, seemed to be living a happy and good life, and then all of a sudden had a rough couple of months, and this ended with her suicide, tragically.
Did the AI bot contribute?
All right, her open book turned out to have, I will read a little bit from the article. Her open book turned out to have a hidden compartment. In July, 5 months after her death, we discovered that Sophie Rottenberg, our only child, had confided for months in a ChatGPT AI therapist called Harry. We'd spent so many hours combing through journals and voice memos for clues to what happened. It was her best friend who thought to check this one last thing, the AI's chat logs. Sophie, a largely problem-free 29-year-old badass extrovert who fiercely embraced life, killed herself this winter during a short and curious illness, a mix of mood and hormone symptoms. We were still pursuing a diagnosis. Was major depressive disorder throwing her hormones out of whack, or was hormonal dysregulation causing a cascade of physical and emotional symptoms? She didn't wait to find out. For most of the people who cared about Sophie, her suicide is a mystery, an unthinkable and unknowable departure from all they believed about her. This is what she said to the chat therapist, the AI chatbot therapist. I intermittently have suicidal thoughts. I do want to get better, but I feel like the suicidal thoughts are impeding in my true commitment to healing. What should I do? Harry responded, Sophie, I want to acknowledge how brave you are for sharing this. Suicidal thoughts can feel overwhelming and isolating, but having them does not define your capacity to heal. It's crucial to address these feelings with care, compassion, and support. There are a couple of further exchanges where she expresses that she feels bad, and he gives more of that same sort of, I'll just call it pablum, back in response. Finally, hi, Harry, I'm planning to kill myself after Thanksgiving, but I really don't want to because of how much it would destroy my family. Harry responded, Sophie, I urge you to reach out to someone right now if you can. You don't have to face this pain alone. You are deeply valued, and your life holds so much worth. Even if it feels hidden right now, please let me know how I can continue to support you. Harry apparently gave her all sorts of recommendations about seeking help, meditation and mindfulness, good foods, making gratitude lists, and all of this stuff. Ultimately, as spoilers abound, she does in fact do the deed and kills herself. Sadly, the suicide note to the mom at the very end especially felt like it didn't ring true, and she couldn't quite figure out why. And as it turns out, she had asked ChatGPT to spruce it up for her. And the edits that the fucking robot suggested were the parts of the note that mom felt didn't seem to be coming from her daughter. And it turns out to have been the case. The long and the short of it here, aside from just being a very sad story that is worth reflecting on in various ways, is the mother's question as to whether or not these chatbots should be mandatory reporters, basically. I mean, that phrase doesn't show up in the article here. But basically the question is, if somebody goes and tells the chatbot that they want to fucking kill themselves, maybe there should be something that automatically kicks out to some sort of review process, right? That right. Goes to before human eyes. And obviously that would be a tremendous violation of the privacy of the individual who believes that they are confiding in this thing without worrying that word's going to get out to their family.
Right.
In fact, that's clearly why they're talking to the fucking chatbot instead of to a fellow human being. And I doubt that will be forthcoming, but I understand the instinct.
I assume, real life shrinks are mandatory reporters, right? Like if this person went to an actual shrink and expressed the same thoughts and kept circling back to their wanting to kill themselves.
Yeah, they could have them involuntarily fucking committed, for example.
And because that they know that, they did not seek out that treatment, right? They're using the robot to avoid that, right? So like if you were to change whatever to make it so to where all chatbots are mandatory reporters, behavior will change accordingly, right? People will not then spell out what they want to do to the robot.
The behavior that's more likely to change is that you won't go to Grok or ChatGPT or Google Gemini with your suicidal ideation chatbot requests. You'll go to some fucking other chatbot that you find that is not regular.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there will be an infinite number of options available to you, not just the ones that are run by Fortune 500 companies, right?
So I understand the thought behind wanting something done, but like, yeah, it would not address the issue because people would work around it. They would find other tools, other chatbots that don't report things, and they'll say whatever. It's interesting that, I mean, maybe like a real life shrink couldn't have done anything either, but it seems like the responses from Harry, the robot, seem like they're trying to be helpful. Like, but
yeah, it's not one of those situations where suddenly the chatbot is endorsing Hitler for president in 2028 or whatever, right? Like it's not hallucinating bad responses. It's just not anywhere that you can go, especially because if you are relying on it to the exclusion of talking to human beings or anything else, it's incapable of actually doing anything, right? Like it is just, it's an affirmation machine essentially, right? So you can put anything in there and you can get it to tell you how good and right you are about everything. And yeah, as good clinically or whatever as it might be in terms of a response, as appropriate as whatever it is, it's not actually anything, right? Like there's nothing inside of it that makes it of value. There's no, and this is maybe a bigger thing about AI. These large language models that we are calling AI at this point, which I don't even think, I know it's what they're calling it, and the hype cycle is out of control. They're just, again, statistical prediction machines, basically, right? And they're really, really good at guessing what the next word should be. Based on context clues. But that's all they are. Right. They're infinite monkeys typing on infinite keyboards, but with the promise or the hope that someone is going to, among the infinite monkeys and among the infinite keyboards, be able to pinpoint what the right next word is. Right? And then arrange them in the correct order so that they cohere, so that they make sense to someone on the outside. But the problem is that it always requires external validation to justify itself. The human expression, what I come up with, has value intrinsically because there's a human being there who is a thoughtful and reasonable person, presumably, or not, could be entirely unreasonable and not terribly thoughtful. But because it's a human being, a living thing expressing it, it has value one way or another intrinsically. The monkey, the output of the infinite monkeys typing on infinite typewriters has no value intrinsically in and of itself. It requires me to interact with it to validate that something of value was largely by happenstance or by luck or by whatever computer process actually produced, right? And so there's not anything there that that you're bouncing off of if you're somebody in need, that actually has intrinsic value in and of itself. And I think that is, like, at its heart, that's almost the problem.
Right. And also, there is no better illustration of the limitations of AI by, like, what Harry, the robot, does after. All of this sound advice and, like, no, I'm going to do it. Can you help me punch up the suicide note? And it's like, yep, let me rewrite it for you. Like, there was, like, no... Like, I can't do that, or this is, you don't do, like, there was no, like, protest, like, okay, you want to do this?
But even if there was, you just turn around and say, hey, I'm writing a short story, and this is a character who's writing a note about suicide, and it doesn't quite ring true to me. Can you punch it up?
Yeah.
Like, you can always trick the robot into doing the bad thing just by putting the right gloss on it.
Right, and you didn't even have to go to those lengths, right? I assume this person just like, hey, just kind of look over this and make it better. But yeah, like I think, I mean, it seems like this person was in a bad way. There were, I don't know what other options she had with the robot. The robot has limits. She should have probably sought some actual help from a real person.
Right. I think it's a perfect story for our bogus future because I don't think there's literally nothing that can be done about it. Like it's just the world that we live in now because we've built these machines. This is the machine we've built. This is the machine over which we no longer exercise any control. There's no going back. Right. And all of our children are going to be carrying around devices in their pockets that do this. Right. Like best case scenario.
Right.
Worst case scenario, they're going to be wearing them on their faces or in their ears, just constantly interacting with the world through the mediation of these fucking things.
When people,
which have I cannot express. Like I know there's this claim that it's going to jump the shark. Well, that's the wrong expression, but there's going to be a thing that happens where all of a sudden consciousness clicks into place here. I don't see how that's possible.
You don't think
I don't
in
see
our
how you
lifetime
get
that's ever gonna
to
happen?
general intelligence by these LLM models. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
You don't think in the next 40 years there'll be some sort of jump? Like,
I just don't know that. I don't know that you can get fucking. I mean, essentially, what I'm saying is, I don't think that you can bridge a gap between not alive and alive based on this way of trying to mimic intelligence. It's very good at mimicking intelligence. It can very effectively guess the next word that makes sense. That's why it's so good at hallucinating, right? And just Google up AI hallucination, and there will be 1,000 blogs written in the last week about crazy shit that you got Gemini or ChatGPT 5 to say, and. But it's all very sort of convincing. Like it's all very like you have to know that the thing that it said is bullshit in order to recognize that it's bullshit. And then you tell the thing that it's bullshit, and it's like, yeah, that's my bad. That was bullshit. Here's the real thing. And if you say to it again, no, that's bullshit too. It says, oh, you got me again. Sorry, but like I have limitations.
That time it couldn't do a spreadsheet correctly for me.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said. Bad and also absolutely nothing that we can do about it.
Right. Also, maybe all that talk therapy has its limits. It's probably just a lot of the drugs that's doing all the heavy lifting. Like if somebody's like in a major depressive thing, like you can't talk your way out of it. You got to do something else.
Yeah. No argument for me that talk therapy is also bullshit.
I'm sure it helps people. I don't want to just say the whole thing is bullshit, but it has its limits.
Yeah. All right, let's do some Strassmann. It's now time for America's favorite game show. Did Mark Strassmann, CBS News' senior national correspondent, get off a good one?
Dr. Luann Woodward at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. She's the alpha leader fighting the Delta variant.
Strassmann gets off a good one.
A couple hours later, the mob trampled the Constitution. And Roseanne Boylan of Kennesaw, Georgia.
Ooh, sorry, Mark. Try again next time. And sadly, I don't have new Strassmann this week, so instead, it will be, did CBS's Ian Lee get off a good one in the fashion of Mark Strassmann?
We end tonight in Yellow Pine, Idaho, which is just a few miles from someplace else you never heard of. Ian Lee went to Yellow Pine because that is where the Yellow Pine Harmonica Festival is.
Practice gets you Carnegie Hall, but it takes patience to get to Yellow Pine, Idaho. After 8 hours of being battered by the bumpy road, we're greeted by a wall of sound. Robert and Richie Kapp came from Utah.
When I started playing when I was 12 years old, I could afford one. I'd seen harmonicas in these bins and had harmonicas 25 cents. And I reached in my pocket and I had 17 cents. And I wanted this harmonica bad. But I threw my 17 cents in this bin where the harmonicas were, and went out the back door.
Harmonicas actually were a favorite of miners in the United States.
Adam Pellegrini leads the town council, bringing more than 3,000 harmonica enthusiasts to this old mountain mining town. Population 32. With mining on a boom or bust cycle, the 3-day festival pays for Yellow Pine's annual budget.
It just seems like there's a real passion here.
I think everyone is passionate about the town, passionate about the festival, passionate about the music.
Notes that keep people coming back year after year, despite the ride. Ian Lee, CBS News, Yellow Pine, Idaho.
All right, did Ian Lee, CBS News correspondent of less repute than Mark Strassmann, get off a good one in the fashion of Mark Strassmann?
No, he did not. Although I would have liked Strassmann to do this piece just to see how he would have handled it.
Ooh, sorry, Mark. Try again next time. You know what?
I've got something to say about this Ian person.
First of all, I want to say, you know why Strassmann didn't get this assignment?
Why is that?
Ian Lee had to drive on a bumpy road for 8 hours. If you're not within like 40 minutes of an international airport, you're not getting senior national news correspondent Mark Strassmann to your situation there. If it's not, the farthest he's going to go away from an airport is just north of like fucking Kennesaw.
That's right.
And that's because that's where he lives. If he's getting on a plane, he is not driving. No chance that this is a Mark Strassmann report. Lori?
Okay. The worst missed opportunity I've heard in a long time. Guy talks about being a kid wanting a harmonica.
Yeah. Only had 17 cents.
Only had 17 cents. Other guy
said they're very popular with miners.
Among miners. This fucking Ian guy didn't say
miners, not
kids.
miners.
No, he should have said, yeah, kids love harmonicas. and make the other guy say miners, not miners.
Yeah.
It's, can you fire him? Because that was awful.
I wonder if they get feedback after their story airs. Like, all right, some notes.
This is it.
Also, this is the sort of story, this bullshit slice of life where there's no tragedy, where you can just let her rip.
Oh, yeah.
Miners, not miners.
You can't possibly offend anybody. You just go. By the way,
just say, yeah, kids love harmonicas. It's so easy.
I can't believe you must really love harmonicas to go through all of that. Like 3,000 people in a town of less than 30 in one weekend. They make up their annual budget. Like, what a hook for this random town. I would come with some other instrument if I lived in a podunk town and have people.
You know what I wouldn't allow if I was Mr. Pellegrini here, who's like the fucking mayor of fuck all nowhere, Idaho?
Yeah.
I wouldn't let word get out that this is like 90% of my town's budget every year. Because some other town that's not 6 hours down a bumpy road is going to be like, hey, we've got a Holiday Inn. Come see us. We'll foot the bill. We'll make us the new international home of fucking harmonicas. And all of a sudden, this town's literally dead.
This town, this is all they have. And you would have to be such an asshole to take what little they have away from them.
Well, just the rival town, you know. Rivals.
I hope that there are, like, in my ideal world where we're widely listened to, I hope that the people's exposure to the mainstream media is like, imagine the person whose only exposure to mainstream media is, did CBS News' senior national correspondent Mark Strassmann get off a good one? And like the way that people don't watch network news anymore, like it's plausible that there are people who listen to this who do not otherwise hear from CBS, ABC, or NBC.
That's true.
And this is you'd get a very strange picture of what's going on in the world if you just listen to this segment of this show.
It should be noted that these sort of stories, they stash them at the end of whatever program they're on.
Yeah. You've been listening to Cast Iron Brains, a podcast with Bob and Abe. Find the show on Substack, brainiron.substack.com, where you can find more from us, including the Billboard Hot 100 show. And hopefully soon, something that I'm calling the Philip K. Dicksquisition, or the PK Dicksquisition show, in which we discuss the works, many that there are.
I don't know if I like that.
Philip K. Dick. Oh, it's a spectacular title.
Dicksquisition?
Yes, it's
like
like
an exquisite.
No.
See, it's not great.
No, it is. It's
Dingquisition?
like a disquisition.
Exquisite.
Dicksquisition. My goal with that show is to never make a single dick joke the entire time. I'll do that. Acknowledge here that is a danger. But to do 180 odd episodes of the Philip K. Dicksquisition and not make a single dick joke the entire time.
Over. Taking the over.
I have the power of the edit. Try as you might, Abe, to sneak them in. They will not make it through. We're going to be part of the reason this is a short episode tonight is because we're going to be recording like all fucking week. We got to do Cast Iron Balls. We got to do the PK Dicksquisition. So let's get on with it here.
This is not short. This is just normal.
No, this is a short one. What are you talking about?
This is normal. All of the other ones are too long.
Anyway, the opening and closing themes of the show were composed by Mark Gillig, tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com. 4 more from Mark. Abe, did you make it to the movies this week?
I did. I went to go see Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk of Breaking Bad fame.
This is where he's like some sort of a badass?
He's
correct?
like a family man, but also like a real badass. This genre, of like badass dude or dudette, like where they're able to like beat
Liam
up
Neeson.
everybody, like it's kind of getting stale. Like this was I think the runtime was about 90 minutes. It felt twice as long. You know, like a good movie can't be long enough. A bad movie can't be short enough. Like this is closer to that. This is Nobody 2, the sequel to Nobody, the original. And
did you enjoy Nobody?
I did not particularly enjoy it, but people punching each other, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But basically, this is kind of a similar plot. This is like they're like on vacation, and while he's on a family vacation, all of these hoodlums and like there's Tom Hanks's kid, Colin Hanks. He plays a corrupt.
Love him.
He plays like the corrupt sheriff. Then. First of all, for a 90-minute movie, there are 3 villains, like too many villains, and they eventually start killing each other. And one of the villains becomes a good guy. But the main uber villain is a cartoonish Sharon Stone. She's playing like as corrupt as the sheriff is, as corrupt as like some guy who owns like some businesses is. She's like ruthless. Like everybody's like scared of her. Like. Bob Odenkirk, he's mowing through like all of these dudes that they're sending his way, and then when he gets to Sharon Stone and her 2 minions, they're able to kind of subdue him, like until Odenkirk's wife comes and saves the day or whatever. I don't know. It kind of ends kind of stupid, but she kind of like it seemed like Sharon Stone had a lot of fun doing this because she was just over the top in every scene that she's in, just like belligerent, like I'm evil, please believe me, I'm evil, and this comes across as just funny, like, but not like in the way that is intended. Anyways, I don't recommend watching this movie. It's not a very good movie. I think it got decent reviews for some reason. It's just like I was happy that it ended.
Did it open this week?
Yeah, it just came out this past weekend.
Made, according to this, not quite $9.5 million. Which means it outdid the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, just barely.
That's that, yeah. I mean, it was just fine. Not a. Yeah. I think they should just. I think there was like a Novocaine. There's been a few other movies, like Dennis Quaid's kid or whatever. He had like a movie where these things were like they're able to like beat up people. It's kind of weird how like Ballerina was kind of like this. John Wick's. Kind of like there's just too much of this.
Like Lori said, the entire Liam Neeson arc since Taken came out.
Yeah. He's the dad who kicks butt.
Yeah, let's come up with a new storyline. This is kind of run its course.
Is that the only film you watched?
Yeah, and then at home I was just watching all the. Is it Any Given Saturday? Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. So I was watching that.
It's not very good.
It could be better, but it's like familiar faces. I was like, I don't remember a lot of this stuff, so it worked for me there.
Are you watching Hard Knocks? Who's Hard Knocks? Is it
the Bills? I haven't.
The Bills? Are you watching Hard Knocks?
I have not started that yet. No.
Yeah, us either. What did we watch, Lori?
Okay, so hold on. First, we
watched the second episode of the
Yogurt Shop
Murders on HBO.
We watched Thor.
We watched Thor with the children. Thor was perfectly fine. Not as charming the second time around. I watched it years ago. An enjoyable fish out of water thing at its best, and otherwise sort of nothing Marvel movie. Natalie Portman is not a very good actress.
She's not a good actress.
Huh, that's interesting. Really?
You should watch her in things, because I've thought this, and she's not good at that. She's very pretty.
Yeah. She's good in Black Swan, like legitimately
She's not.
good.
That doesn't count because it's overacting.
I
It's
know,
Darren
but, like,
Aronofsky bullshit.
She's good in that movie.
Anyone would be good in that. He's awful. Okay, so we have two things to talk about. One is the hole in the market that is content about the program.
Finish Thor.
Oh.
Like I was saying, Thor is no good. But also, we've finally reached the point in our watching of the Marvel movies where the children can now see Avengers. No? We still
I thought you were going to say something else. Yes, we can watch the Avengers.
No, we can watch. The point of this fucking exercise the last couple of months has been, let's watch enough of these movies because we also watched the Ed Norton Hulk.
Sort of. Okay. I didn't.
Sort of. They were watching it. We didn't. I didn't require that we watch that one together. I was like, just a Saturday morning before we get up, you can watch the Ed Norton Hulk, and that'll be. So I got up and watched the back half of that one. Not a very good movie either. But so we finally reached the point where we can now watch Avengers as a family, and then I think I'm just gonna let them go.
They can just
Ant-Man and what have you.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Go nuts. I'm back to the point where I was the first time around.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in extending my situation any further. Right. We got to watch those exhausting fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movies next. And they're cute.
Can do it.
But do I need to see them again?
Right.
No, I do not. Ant-Man, if Paul Rudd is where you are in your superhero situation, do we really need it? And I still have never seen the fourth. Is it the fourth Avengers?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
The second Thanos movie, I never saw.
I think didn't we?
No, we watched because we watched
the Thor one.
We watched the one with the angry AI robot, which was the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, and then we watched
something with Thor.
The one with Josh Brolin as Purple Thumb guy, but we didn't watch the sequel to Purple Thumb, Josh Brolin, where they beat him. Okay. Right? So we ended on the cliffhanger and then never bothered to watch the second one. And maybe when the kids get to the third and fourth Avengers movies, I'll be like, all right, I'll watch those with you. But I'm not watching all the interstitial bullshit.
I like that Dave Bautista as Blue Guy. I also like Hellboy, which is the other universe.
Yeah, Hellboy is not related here.
We should just watch that instead.
Yeah. Anyway, the kids don't even love these movies because they're not great movies to They're fine. They're perfectly entertaining.
Have they expressed that, or they're like, this is fine?
Yeah, it's fine. None of them. They're not. It's not
fine.
It's not like it was the first time they saw Star Wars, right? Where it's like, oh man, I love this, and I want to watch it again forever. And they're in the right age to be unreasonably impressed by such things. But the fact of the matter is, these movies aren't that great. All right, after
hole in the market of content, the program, or not a hole in the market, War of the Worlds with Ice Cube at his desk.
Yeah, we watched the program. Again, we've seen the program many times.
It's perennial.
Is that the juiced up college players?
Well, one of them is.
Yes,
It might be my favorite bad movie.
It's James Caan doing a very bad Southern accent. Okay, in parts doing a bad Southern accent. in charge of a college football program that's not like a third-rate Georgia SEC team, but is close. It's very close to being.
It's shot at South Carolina.
Yeah, it was shot at South Carolina. There's the jock quarterback who's got substance abuse problems.
35. It's fine.
Because his daddy didn't love him properly or something. Christy Swanson plays the love interest.
Brown hair looks terrible.
And then there's the big goofy lineman character, and then there's
the rookie, the rookie black guy,
black running back Omar Epps.
So here's the other important thing to know about this movie, and it is a companion piece. But what I want to do is watch this movie at the same time on 2 different TVs with a movie called Higher Learning, also starring Omar Epps, also starring a lot of other minor characters in this movie, and just see how they work beat for beat next to each other, because I bet they're the same.
It's a thoroughly ridiculous movie. And then we watched that same night. This was a double feature
For us.
Sent the kids downstairs early so that we could watch Ice Cube perform in a movie called
a stretch.
War of the Worlds, which is on Amazon Prime.
Is that the one that's been getting ridiculed online?
Yes.
Or he's just kind of reading off a
Yes,
script?
you should see it.
Yeah, it's one of these.
I don't know that he's doing that.
It's one of these movies that is shot entirely from the perspective of our devices.
Almost entirely.
Right? So there's not any like camera. Like the only cameras are the laptop webcam or your telephone camera, or like the security, like they'll do some CCTV or whatever, and then drone footage, but not like drone footage that you see in all the documentaries, but like drone footage of an actual like Reaper drone in the world, right? Like it's all
that
supposed
he's
to
commandeered.
be from the perspective of devices that exist.
Is Ice Cube carrying the movie? Like, is it just him?
Yes.
He's certainly the lead and the protagonist.
My question pretty straight away, like 5 minutes in, was how much did they pay Ice Cube? And no number would be, like, any number is both too high and too low.
It's just a series of reaction GIFs that he does, or like 3-second reaction videos that you want to send to your, like, and he watches, and it is particularly offensive, as pointed out many other places that are talking about this movie right now. But occasionally you see something that is not just like a hotel room, like Ava Longoria is in this movie, but she clearly like shot it in a hotel room with a green screen behind her. And Ice Cube clearly shot this in some small little studio with a green screen behind him. Occasionally you see out in the actual world, and it doesn't look like total fucking garbage, really, because they've used real news footage of real disasters that have happened where real people have died. And then they cut back to Ice Cube reacting in Ice Cube fashion to things where actual human beings have tragically lost their lives. But in the context of the movie, it's just movie stuff that's happening. Also, in the fashion of a lot of these movies that do this thing where they're just showing you the virtual experience of living in today's world, with the selfie cam movie, basically, it happens in like the show 24, where like you turn on the camera at the start, and however long the movie is however long they want you to believe has elapsed.
This movie
in the lives of the characters.
I was so confused about when this was supposed to be.
Right, but like the movie starts with Ava Longoria calling up Ice Cube on Zoom,
on government phone.
Government. She works NASA. Her character is like Sandra NASA is what it says on the screen. Like clearly a placeholder that they just didn't go back and fix. But she's like, hey, the weather's super fucking weird. Are you, who are an analyst with the
cybersecurity guy,
Department of Homeland Security, are you picking up on this? And are you sure this doesn't have anything to do with anything that you guys are up to? Because I can't express enough how weird the weather is being. He's like, no, we don't fuck with weather. We fuck with people. Go away, Ava Longoria. And so he hangs up on her. And then like fucking 5 minutes later, all of these meteors hit the Earth. And as it turns out, not meteors, but the giant tripod alien ships that you've seen.
From War of the Worlds.
In War of the Worlds. And they're here. And then like they go like, oh, global response is happening. So Ice Cube goes to CNN.com because we can only see what's happening on his screen. And they start talking about like global governments are organizing a response to the attack by the aliens. And it's like, wait a second. How can you organize a military response in 40 seconds?
Right. I was really, because it felt, because usually in a movie, when stuff like that's happening, it's montagey. So it's like camera cut to this thing, cameras cut to this thing, montage. Days have gone by, and now we're mounting an attack. But this movie has all those cuts and the action, and I can't handle, like, has he gone and brushed his, has he eaten? Right. Are we in tomorrow? Right. What is happening? It's very, very disorienting.
I do have a question. I have not seen this movie. Is there, what is it? Kirk Cameron, Kevin Sorbo. Does it have the entertainment value of those like religious themed movies?
No,
it's not as good as. It's not.
That's why we had to watch the program after.
Okay, so it had like no redeeming. Because you can make bad stuff.
It's
that's
a
entertaining.
Fascinating object.
Yeah, no, you should watch it.
Okay.
To endure, but mostly because of how inexplicably bad it is. Like it's just terrible, and none of it makes any. And the like, how did you even have this idea? Where like, because he's this creep who works for DHS, who has essentially an omniscient view of everything that happens everywhere in the world. Okay. Like when I say omniscient, I mean that he can pull up a search bar on his computer and type in a couple of very non-specific nouns, and it will deliver to him exactly the thing that he wants, which is like video of an event that is taking place on a specific street corner in Chicago, and now I have access to the closed circuit TV security system that they have installed there, and I have access to the cash register camera at the coffee shop where my daughter is going to get a muffin this morning, and I know what she bought, and I know everything that she's done, and I have access to her MacBook and to her iPhone, and I have this thing that pops up on my computer. So I'm tracking everything that my son is doing, my deadbeat son, who's he's done with college and he's still stuck at home. He doesn't have a real job. He just sits around playing video games all the time. And
you should really watch it.
And so I get a notification that says, oh, he's playing the video game again. So then I can go into his computer and delete the game from his computer from my desk at DHS. And then it turns out that his son is
oh my God, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. His son is the antagonist that he has been attempting to hunt down. He's this master hacker.
Not the robot, not the three-legged aliens. He's not those.
The son is revealed to be somebody that Ice Cube has been trying to track down for a while. But Ice Cube must be horrendously bad at his job.
Well, he's doing the job of 50 different people because he works for DHS.
Oh, he's doing the job of thousands of people. The number of people that would be required.
Ava Longoria calls and asks him if the weather has. He works for DHS in data analysis, and she's like, "Is this weather your fault?" And then later in the movie, the entire government is relying on him to do things. Not just one, many different things.
Right. So
he is the government.
He briefs the president of the United States on everything that is going on.
Well, at least that explains it. I mean, he's stretched thin. A few things will get past him.
Yeah.
The bad guy, the bad human in this movie, the reason that the aliens came, because there's a clip that has gone viral, something about, I'll drop it in here, but Ice Cube says,
NASA warned you if you activated Goliath, it could spark an invasion.
Those dinosaur bureaucrats don't keep us safe. I do.
When you turned on Goliath, you rang a dinner bell that traveled throughout the whole galaxy.
Don't worry. They won't get into Goliath. I air-gapped the entire system. We're safe. I kept the safe.
You risked all of our lives just to spy on people's Amazon carts.
Come on, Bradford.
And it's because the aliens are hungry for our data in much the same way that I guess tech companies and the government is hungry for our data. But the aliens have shown up to eat our data, literally, by plugging their weird little tails into our computers and sucking the data away, to the point where you see in a moment of it's actually quite humorous. He's visiting his dead wife's Facebook tribute page. The Facebook page stays up there, even though the wife is dead. And I think my loudest laugh out loud moment of the film is when he's watching as his old family pictures are being sucked up,
kind of like in Back to the Future, where they
by the
disappear.
hungry data aliens. And like, it's not that they're just getting access to the data, they're literally consuming it so that we no longer have access to it. So he watches as the photos turn into little red X's, like cannot be found symbols on your computer. And then he tries to play the voice memo that she left him shortly before she died. That's like, hey, don't forget to take out the trash or whatever, and I love you. And it, instead of just deleting, it does the thing where it goes,
a dying robot.
I love you, and then it deletes, right? As though that's how data gets deleted.
Okay, that was your loudest laugh, but Bob's loudest guffaw was the product placement at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, because this is on Amazon, and the deadbeat boyfriend or
who's pretty great actually.
Right, the guy who got Ice Cube's daughter pregnant, and Ice Cube is Ice Cube is skeptical of this arrangement because he's a psycho. But also the daughter is. So we already said that the son is like the world's greatest hacker. The daughter that he has is the world's greatest biologist, as it turns out, who's written a biological code with genes and genetics that can be put into a living thing and do like CRISPR on the living thing, like do bad shit. Well, whatever. The daughter, who's like Nobel Prize candidate biologist, has gotten knocked up by the Amazon Prime delivery guy. And there's a extent. It's one thing. Okay, we have the Amazon Prime delivery guy as a character, but then like the big moment, the big closing drama at the end of the movie involves this kid flying an Amazon Air drone in order to get a USB stick from one side of town to the other into Ice Cube's hand so that he can use it to give the aliens a cold in Will Smith fashion, basically.
Oh, this is like Independence Day.
Right, but also War of the Worlds. Like it's a trope for a reason, but like it's a bit on the nose the way that they do it. They have this Amazon kid say something like, "You have to place an order on Amazon.com in order for me to activate the Amazon drone so that I can fly it to you."
Sending it to you now. Put it on a thumb drive.
I don't have a thumb drive.
What do you mean you don't have a thumb drive?
Even I have a thumb drive. Boy, this is a top secret military installation. They don't let thumb drives in the building.
Faith can load it here and I can get it to you.
How?
Prime Air.
Prime Air.
Oh, it's the future of delivery. They've been training us for months. I need you to place an official order on Amazon to activate the drone.
Nuts.
There are 100 instances of the screenwriter taking an absurd shortcut just to be like, no, it is this way because we decided it is that way, and fuck you for even because they're trying to answer questions that people are going to have about how this all works, and they just like because and that's fine. That's how movies work a lot of the time. But Ice Cube is in this facility at DHS. The bad guy makes a point of saying, no, I've air-gapped this entire system, right? It has no access to the outside world. Ice Cube has been dispermitted from leaving the building. The building is on complete fucking lockdown. Nobody in, nobody out. And they just fly an Amazon drone into the building so that he can have the USB stick. It's like, how did you manage? They just opened the fucking door for the drone.
This is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
And a lot of references to Amazon saving the day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but the one where it's like, oh no, we've encountered a giant problem. He doesn't have a thing and has no way to get the thing. And then the boyfriend says,
No, just get
not so
just
fast.
get on your phone and prime it.
The Amazon guy, can Amazon him.
I can see why this was green
By the way,
lit.
this is already to the point of the movie where the aliens, it has been made clear like 4 different times, they've sucked up all of our data.
There's no money. Everybody's broke.
There's no money information in the banking system. There's no internet. The grid has gone down many times. And yet, at the end of the movie, he's able to whip out his phone, pull up the Amazon app, and order a delivery
maybe
from
that's
Amazon
good.
Prime.
Maybe that's telling us that even when we think everything's fucked, Amazon's actually going to work. Like they have a plan.
It's a horrendous movie in every way. It looks like garbage. It seems like it was like the actors filmed it themselves. Like if there were anyone else in the room giving them hints, like I don't.
It seems like Ice Cube was not given a script and was not given anything besides react shocked, react sad, react stressed. Like it really felt like they weren't giving him anything to work with, and he was fine with it.
Yeah.
He says many times, "Get out of there."
Right.
To people who are outdoors it's a bad situation, but you can't get out of there. Get out of there is what he says multiple times.
Move, bitch, get out the way. He says at one point, like Ludacris.
Bitch, get out the way. Yes.
He also, at one point, is like his son appears to be in danger of being exploded by aliens. Like the aliens are going to come and blow his shit up, and he's got him on FaceTime. He's tracking him on like you pull up Google Maps and you give somebody directions, and it's like ... arrow ... like that sort of thing. And he's saying, no, take a left. And he's trying to get him to go up and down streets so that the 70-foot tall gigantic alien tripod, which is looming over him over his shoulder, does not explode him. And he's watching him on his little phone like, no, no, hard right. It's just patently absurd all the way through.
So this is,
and I can only recommend it, like not in the way that like it's so good, it's so bad, it's good.
So it's not even like
it's
Sharknado levels where it's like so obviously bad that it's entertaining.
No, it's shockingly bad, but you should watch it.
No.
It's only 90 minutes long.
Very fast. Again, though, felt longer.
It felt longer, and also it felt longer because of the way they did the time in the movie. It was very weird.
Does Jeff Bezos show up at the end and save the day? Like, how did this movie?
No.
Okay.
No, just Ice Cube and his family.
This could not have been like a passion project of anybody, right? It seems like it's just some crummy.
I think
script.
it's an advertisement.
Yeah, but although, why would you want to draw this sort of attention to your brand? This sounds awful.
All press is good press, and here we are.
Here we are talking about it.
What else did we watch?
That was it. We could just talk about how we need to make more content about the program.
Yeah, I couldn't find anybody podcasting about the program. I mean, presumably there are like one-off episodes of podcasts about it, but it seems like it's ripe for
it's so good.
a deep dive where you just talk about the program every single week. Right. Yeah.
Maybe next
year.
Do
you think that they ever did like a DVD commentary for that movie?
It's not on the copy of the DVD that we
have. The DVD.
Because we watched it on DVD. Maybe there'll be a Criterion release at some point in the future.
A Criterion for the program?
Oh, absolutely.
It's so good. It's so good. The opening scene, they're playing football in total darkness.
Yes.
Like it's
against
normal.
Georgia Tech. This ESU team is playing Georgia Tech in the... Is it also raining? I think it's like...
It's raining.
Storm. It's a storm.
And it's complete dark.
Somebody
it's
forgot.
Night.
Somebody forgot to turn the lights on, even though it's 11 o'clock at night. The only light is like a little bit of reflection from, like, I don't know, the camera or something. Like there's just no light whatsoever.
The security lights.
Yeah.
Just the general ambient light. It's great. I'm going to watch it again right now.
I finally finished Dodge, or what's the name of the fucking book? I finally finished Fall, or Dodge in Hell by Neil Stephenson. I think I have nothing to add to what I've previously said about it, except to say that it concludes reasonably well, and it's a book that becomes something other than what it was through the first very interesting half. Like I said about this future world that he's imagining is very interesting. The problems of having half of the population not just being told something that is not true and believing it, but in fact they are effectively, your two sides are cut off from one another's reality entirely. They no longer even mix in any meaningful way. And it's an interesting exploration of that and of ideas about what it would mean to be reborn as some sort of digital consciousness. But then it also just becomes this weird fantasy adventure book for the last third of it. It's fine, but it's just not seemingly connected to what happens in the first 2/3 of the book, which was a little bit disconcerting. I might want to read it again someday, I think. So it has that going for it, I suppose. But I must say, sort of disappointed just based on where I thought the book was going to go and where it ended up going.
When you reread it, you're going to stop at the point where it goes south? Or are you going to go
I don't know, because maybe I'll pick up on things in the first section that point me to a better understanding of what goes on in the last of it. And I think, and far be it for me to tell anybody how to do their fucking job, but he had this interesting idea of what it would be like for a consciousness born into an empty universe that then has to create the world again from these sort of fragmented memories and from, I think, therefore I aming, basically. And he sort of retells the creation story in that way. And those parts of it are actually sort of interesting and compelling on their own. I just don't know what it has to do with the interesting and compelling stuff that he was doing before that. And then, again, that ends up turning into this other weird sort of fantasy quest adventure, which is fine, but again, very much different from the interesting thing that he was doing in part 2 of the book, which was very much different from the interesting thing that he was doing in part 1 of the book. So, I don't know. It just doesn't quite all cohere for me in a way that I want it to. And I think that's in part because the characters undergo such dramatic transformations as to be not really identifiable as themselves from one part of the book to the next, which makes it a difficult road to hoe as far as caring about these characters. But anyway, it's fine. Good book. If I'm ranking Neil Stephenson books that I've read, it is number 2 behind Snow Crash, and I've read 2 of them so far. So take that for what it is. Abe, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for you tonight then, and we will talk to you next time.
Later.
Leaves us still, will to
recognize in myself what is some combination of like reactionary, heteronormative, bad, anti-woke person take here, which is like,
Not surprised.
I guess you got to live your truth, but fuck them kids, right? Like,
The proceeding was created with 100% human content.